What's up, everybody? How you guys doing this afternoon? Alrighty then. It's Avon here, and I'm back with another one of the Total Drama videos. Wow, that was bright light. Okay, so I'm back with another one of the Total Drama videos. This is things I change about Total Drama Action. You might have seen my previous video, what I changed about Total Drama Island. This is Action, which is going to be a little bit easier for me to do because there was a lot more problems I had with Action than I did with Island. I'm not saying the Action was necessarily a bad season, but it could have done better provided these things had been changed, at least in my humble opinion. We're going to jump right into it with Bridget and Jeff's elimination, or their even introduction. Now, I love Bridget and Jeff. It's one of my favorite Total Drama ships. They're some of my favorite Total Drama characters. But their whole introduction to the series in the second season, they had absolutely no personality whatsoever. Jeff and Bridget were just kissing all the time. There was no, like, radical skater dude or chill surfer chick. There was just sucking face the entire time. But then they were eliminated first with a double elimination, and they started running the after show, which I'm glad about the after show. But honestly, if their whole point was to be in the after show, I wish they just would have led with that rather than take away from their characters in that short amount of time they were on the series. And maybe even save those spots for like someone that could have used more character development, aka Zeke, Eva, Katie, Sadie. Or I would have even loved to see more Tyler and Noah. Next up is the whole E-scope thing was a little weird, but that's Izzy being Izzy, so I'm not going to delve too much into that. But it was a little bit weird and somewhat aggravating, especially since that's the technicality that she was able to come back on, was because they eliminated E-scope and not Izzy. Then there's Trent. Oh my Jesus Lord. Okay, so I touched up a little bit, a small smidgen on the Island thing, where I made comment about Trent being eliminated and how I said I liked Island Trent, not Action Trent. If you guys watch, the series, you can definitely tell the difference between Island Trent and Action Trent. Island Trent was this kind of like cool guitar dude. He was trying to get the girl. He was a really cool dude, really chill. But in Action, Trent was an overly obsessed, like, highly self-conscious. I don't know if that's the... He was highly jealous of Duncan and Gwen, which, yeah, now we know that there was something there, but at the time, I honestly don't think that there was anything there. They seemed more like best friends than boyfriend-girlfriend. But still, Trent went kind of like nuts in that season. And then the whole Nine obsession was just a little... I don't even know how, I don't know how to phrase that. It was just overall kind of weird, especially since he didn't have it in the first season. Like, if he's always had that lucky number 9 thing, it could have popped up at least once in the first season. But no, it just became like a constant reassuring thing in Action. And Trent's character did a way like spin around. And then following Trent's character change, Gwen went from like the strong, sarcastic fighter to this kind of like depressed about the whole Trent thing, and she wasn't that strong a fighter, and then she willingly got herself eliminated to prove a point. That to me was just really, really disappointing, especially since Gwen almost won in the Total Drama series, which I don't know if in the Canadian version Gwen did win, because I know that there's a difference between the Canadian and the American versions. Like, I know in the American version, Beth won action, and in the Canadian version, I think that Duncan won. So, like, I don't know if Courtney won in the Canadian not Courtney, I don't know what I was thinking about Courtney. I don't know if Gwen won in the Canadian version or if Owen won in both. Either way, Gwen made it extremely far in the games, and then her elimination in action was less than perfect. DJ, I felt bad for poor DJ in Island and action. I kind of felt him with the Island thing. Like, you might think that it's pretty pathetic for a dude to run out on Heather, but in his defense, he was in there alone with Heather, the scariest competitor in Total Drama Island, while she was half naked under a towel with that stuff on her face. I honestly probably would have ran out screaming too. That's not something you want to be around, especially when cameras are all around, rumors spread. And then in action, DJ's whole character just kind of became more soft. Like, DJ was soft in the first season, but he had his moments. Like, for instance, when he threw Owen off the side of a cliff in Island, that was pretty savage. But then in action, his whole thing was just kind of like he felt bad for cheating, which he was pressured into by Chef. And overall, I felt really bad for DJ. I felt like he could have gone farther. Justice for DJ. And then like the all the reward challenges, those were way too common. I think it's because they only came in with like, I think 15 characters, and Jeff and Bridget were eliminated in a double elimination in the first episode, so you had 13 people going at it. Out of the 22 that you had before. Wait, is it the 10th of July? I think it is. Holy crap, it's my sister's birthday today. Well, I doubt my sister watches my videos, but if she does, happy birthday, sis. Well, I'll tell you, like, in person after the video, because I hadn't realized. Anyways, getting back on the Total Drama thing. The reward challenges were just kind of annoying because they didn't really do much, and it was sort of like a disappointment of an episode when nobody got eliminated. But the good thing about all the reward challenges is you got to see more of the characters' personalities throughout the season because they got to last longer. And then poor Owen's jaw being like wired shut. That I honestly felt bad for Owen at that point in time. I love to eat. Even though I'm a really skinny guy, I love to eat, so I felt his pain there. That's not something I'd change or anything. That's just, I felt bad for Owen. Something else that I would have changed was Heather. I actually liked Action Heather because you got to see her grow as more of a person. In Island, she was just the antagonist. There was no real personality there. It was just straight on, like, I'm trying to do this without using curse words because, if a younger audience watches, Heather was a big meanie head. But then in Action, you got to see her grow a little bit as a person. You got to see a little bit more of like the sensitive side of Heather. She was still Heather, but you got to see her as more than just the antagonist. In fact, Heather actually took a back seat in Action. She wasn't the real antagonist. I'd say if there was any antagonist for Action, the antagonist would have to be a mixture of Lashana, Justin, and Courtney. Because Lashana's whole secret thing, which we'll get into, Justin's whole like rivalry for Courtney thing, and then Courtney just kind of like being the anti-Duncan throughout the series. That was just all stuff that could have, made them more antagonist than Heather. And that was one of the first times in Total Drama history that I was very sad to see Heather go. Because, yeah, I like Heather, but she's one of those characters that you love to, like, dislike. Because they obviously made her that way. And despite all, me liking to dislike her, I was actually pretty proud of her on World Tour for winning. But that's, yeah, Heather. The things I would have changed about Heather was maybe make her a little bit more antagonistic rather than, because I loved the whole character development thing. But at the same time, I felt like a lot of Heather fans were a little disappointed that she didn't do anything too god-awful in Action. I also really loved her look with the caveman hair. I would have, loved to see her with that more, because that was actually really pretty. Lashana kind of went from, you're chill, everybody kind of likes her because of her spunk girl, to kind of talking behind her friends' backs and manipulating them to get what she wants. That to me didn't really scream Lashana. Lashana was always kind of like, that girl who you liked, but she had that spunk behind her that made Lashana's character just so perfect. So, in Action, I didn't really care too much for Lashana's character. She was still a decent one, but I felt like they had changed it unnecessarily. If you needed someone to, do all that, Heather was there, or you could have used someone else other than Lashana. I'm glad that Justin got a little bit more screen time plus dialogue. The scene where he was arguing with his brain, perfect. His whole, he wants Courtney thing, that's probably the first time that Justin has ever had to want a woman, rather than her just wanting him. Which I honestly thought was, gold. Again, Lindsay's elimination I felt like was kind of bull. If I can remember correctly, and I might be wrong, but I think Lindsay might have accidentally eliminated herself in Action. But even at that, with everybody else voting for her, I felt like that was unneeded, because that her team desperately needed a leader. Lindsay had to stand up and be a leader for once, which was a huge growth in, like, character. Admiral Lindsay, her hotness was like the bee's knees. It showed that there's more to Lindsay than the stereotypical dumb blonde. And I felt like she was kind of done in wrong there. Harold. I honestly didn't have a single problem with Harold in action because you got to see a lot of Harold. He made it into the final 5. I felt like I was decently satisfied with Harold. With Courtney, she went through a slight character change in action, which I was okay with. Because it was only slight. She kind of went from, like, annoying CIT coach to sort of antagonistic. But honestly, Courtney was still a pretty strong fighter in action. I felt like she deserved where she, made it. Apparently I made a mistake in my thing because it says that here that Owen made it to the final 3. Did he make it to the final 3? I don't think so. I might have messed that up. Wait, no, I remember they brought him back. So maybe he did. Anyways. And then getting down to Beth and Duncan as, like, the final contestants. I would have preferred someone else made it other than Beth and Duncan. Because, I just honestly don't see Beth as too much of a winner. Yeah, Beth as a good character. But I honestly don't know how she made it that far. I would have loved to see a Lindsay and Duncan finale, or a Lindsay and someone else, because Duncan winning was just, I don't know, a weird thing for me. Duncan is, as I said in the last video, one of my favorite total drama characters. But just because I like a character doesn't mean I want them to win. I kind of like have my placements on where they should end up by the end of the series. Duncan is the kind of competitor that can always make it far, but he should never win. Because his character is just plain out antagonistic without the scheming and planning that Heather has to go through. If, like, any antagonist, which Heather did win, but if any antagonist should win, it had to have been Heather. Again, I don't know if that's different for the Canadian version, because, maybe, I don't know. Or maybe I watched you know what? I just confused myself. Getting back to things about action that I'd like to change. Another thing in action that I'd like to change was, like, the challenges were fun, but they just didn't have, like, the whole aspect that they did in Island. I liked them. I loved the superhero one because I love superheroes. But I felt like it could have been pulled, it wasn't the same as Island was. Speaking of Island, I would have loved to see more of the Island characters return for action. rather than just the 15 or pretty much 13 that did. Because it's hard to count Bridget and Jeff since they went off in, I think, literally episode 1. They might have made it to episode 2, but I think it was literally episode 1 that they got eliminated. No, it was episode 2, because they went down in the alien challenge. Still. It wasn't... They could have brought back more characters instead of trying to, like, bring back a small few and then, you know, have all those reward challenges. With the Redonkulous race, I felt like there was an adequate, like, ratio between reward challenges and actual eliminations. And World Tour didn't do too bad either. Action, it was just ridiculous. Every other challenge was like a reward challenge. Anyways, that's about all I got for action. As I said, I'm gonna, in the last video, I'm gonna do World Tour, All-Stars, Pockettail, all that. I'm also gonna do some, like, ranking list, and if you guys are interested, I might even do, like, this thing I set up, because I actually went on these, one of these things, on a site called Scratch, and it's, it allows you to make your own Total Drama things. I kind of like did it to where how I would have done it. And then I made one like if I had the option to throw in every existing Total Drama character, which characters I'd throw in, which team they'd be on, and what the elimination order would be. I will say that in that, I made sure Brick and Dom both got justice, and B, because they all three kind of deserve justice. And for all the Courtney fans, I promise you're not going to be disappointed with the ending. But yeah, if you guys are interested in that, I can do that. Because, you know, that's just my opinions. But then again, if you're listening to this video, you probably, you know, are at least a little curious about what my opinions are. Which, I don't know why, but you do. So, hasta la pasta, see you later. I hope you have a fantastic day, and tune in for the next one.